Different timing, and Ian Cameron's dry thatch roof might not have caught fire so easily. But these were the ironies one had to either laugh at or weep over, and Robert chose more often to laugh. He wasn't sure what Ian Cameron's philosophy was. Not that he cared. The rain came and stayed. It saturated the ground, muddied the roads, and confined everyone to the castle. Robert was writing by the faint glow of candlelight one night, the window rattling from fierce gusts of wind, the rain tapping an angry tattoo against the glass. An angry tattoo. Maybe he should use that. He had just pressed his finely sharpened quill tip to parchment again when a thump, thump, thump made him jolt. He dropped the quill, flinging black ink all across the page. "Damnation," he muttered. As he tried to blot the mess with a handkerchief and save his work, he realised the thump, thump, thump hadn't ceased. Someone was pounding at the door. It wasn't a sound they heard very often at Llynmore, which might have been why it took so long to recognise it. He shrugged back into his coat, which he draped over the chair, and went down the corridor. He nearly collided with Georgina, who emerged from her room with the alacrity of motion she always exhibited, day or night. She lifted a brass candlestick to cast light over his face. "Who do you think it is?" she whispered. She must have pulled the dress on hastily. The ties hung loose down her back. Theo probably would have told her to make herself more presentable, but Robert wasn't much of a disciplinarian, and he was mostly grateful she hadn't come out in a dressing robe. "No idea." "I'll go with you. You might need my protection." Robert chose to ignore this remark. He was quite capable of defending himself. But he was also quite sure Georgina would not hesitate to thunk someone in the skull with a candlestick, and if there were multiple assailants he might need assistance. He shook his head, realising he was thinking like a character in a novel. In real life, when people arrived at someone's home, it was for perfectly harmless reasons. Usually. Though, in Robert's defence, this lonely old castle was eerie enough at night, much less in the middle of a storm. The thumping continued. "If they don't stop, they shall wake up Francis," Georgina said worriedly. "I don't think anything short of a cannon blast would wake up Francis." His sister nodded, as though conceding his point. They reached the door at the same time Katrina, their housemaid, whose bedchamber was closest to the entrance, was pulling it open. She obviously didn't have as active an imagination as Robert and Georgina, because she looked more irritated than alarmed. In the doorway stood 5 well-dressed but bedraggled people. One of them, a middle-aged man, stepped into the hall and proceeded to drip water and mud onto the floor. Robert heard Katrina sigh. "Oh, thank goodness," the man said in a crisp, clear, and very English accent. "We almost died crossing a flooded bridge, and then the wheel of our cart got stuck in the mud and the axle broke. We didn't know if we'd be able to find shelter, and then we nearly walked straight into your curtain wall." His gaze went to Robert. "Please, sir, do you have room for us?" They had room, certainly. Robert wasn't certain, however, how equipped they were to handle 5 unexpected guests. But he wasn't going to turn away a group of stranded travellers looking for shelter. "Of course," he said, stepping aside, "for as long as you need it. Come in." This was the moment, he would think later. He didn't have to be so generous. He could have told them they could stay the night and leave the next day. This was his mistake. Or maybe it was the best decision he'd ever made. It was funny, life. Each new moment, each new choice was another roll of the dice. And all one could do was wait and see where it landed. Katrina showed their unexpected guest to spare rooms and provided dry linens and hot water. Robert had just pulled on a dark blue box coat when Ian Cameron emerged from the stairwell. He must have been sleeping when the knock sounded. Like Georgina, he had the appearance of hastily pulling on clothes, dark, loose trousers, and a white linen shirt, and his thick red-brown hair was tousled. His shirt was open at the throat, untied, and Robert was a bit startled by a view of the hollow of the man's throat, a smattering of dark hair at the top of his chest, and the strong, graceful sweep of collarbone. He looked like a rake, just stumbled out of bed after a long sulk.